Said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
The
Chautauqua
WCA
Sunrise. We'll
has
be right
private
back.
rooms for seniors who need assisted living. We are a non-profit home founded 125 years ago for women, now seeking approval for men. Our mission has always been top-notch assisted living. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Well, good morning, and this is my second greeting to you. We had a little technical difficulty in the beginning there, but we are all figured out again. Want to welcome you to the show, and for those of you that are watching, good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning in Chautauqua County. Boy, you just can't beat this weather. This is my kind of summertime, those mid-70s and sunny days and blue skies and a few clouds here and there, light breeze. I'm good with that. For those of you that are listening on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us, and we are glad that you could tune in. I want to tell you right now, this is a powerful show that you're going to be watching here in a little bit with my guests who have some really good, strong messages for our community. And I encourage you, if you can't watch the entire show right now, tune in at 2 and 8 o'clock. We're on every day at those times, and you also can catch us on Facebook and YouTube once we get it posted up there. So please do check this show out. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Okay, a few things that I want to share with you is that this is a call-in show, and if you have a question or comment for my guest or myself, call in at 753-5225. You can Twitter us, tweet us, email us, you can drop by the studio, you can call, whatever it is, get your messages to us. Again, if you have an event, a fundraiser or something like that, send it to us and we'll talk about it here on the show. It's free of charge. This show is all about Chautauqua County and all the good stuff that's in it, and I want to share it with you, okay? Just as on a personal note, next Saturday, about noonish, I always say noonish because if we're all set up, we start earlier. But somewhere around noon to 2, Will and I are going to be playing at the Jamestown Farmers Market down on Cherry Street. It's a great time, and that just is sort of a little reminder that there are all kinds of festivals and fun things going on in Chautauqua County right now. Get outside. The weather's great, and there's fresh produce, and they were squashing grapes in Silver Creek. I saw Borello over there barefoot having a foot squashing grape contest. I guess they all tied anyways, but George did a good job, and but there's all kinds of fun things going on in our communities. The Bust Apple Fest, I'm sure, is coming up here soon, and all kinds of great things. So do check it out. And if you're visiting Chautauqua County for the first time, welcome, and please check out the newspapers or this show, and we're going to share information with you about what's going on. And speaking about what's going on, we're going to start off right now in Westfield. And I'm going here today. This is a vendor's fair that's going to be held at Noble Winery up on Hardscrabble Road in Westfield. If you've never been there, it's up on the escarpment, and it looks out to Lake Erie, and it's absolutely gorgeous up there if you've never been to Noble Winery. They're going to have crafters and other direct sales people there, and the whole thing that's going on is that it's supporting the Ripley, my hometown, public library, and I guess they're going to have a Chinese auction and all kinds of crafts and things like that. So that's kicking off this time of year, that season of fairs and things like that. So do check it out. I'm not sure what time it starts or ends, but I'm assuming that's probably starting right about now, probably till dinner time. Okay, so that's Noble Winery over on Hardscrabble in Westfield. Then we have this, how to avoid a DWI. And this is some training that's going to be starting, it's going to be held on September 18th. And the question that they're posing is, how could you pay $900 for a drink? You think about that for a minute. So this is all about how to avoid a DWI. And Kathleen Storns is an impaired driver program director who will be presenting. It's going to be held at the Lakewood Baptist Church over in Lakewood. Registration's $40. You might say, well, why would I pay $40? Well, maybe you or someone in your family might be having some issues with alcohol or other addictions, and this might be something that might be a wake-up call for someone, and you might want to find out the ins and outs of the legal system when it comes to these areas of DWI. I've known people that have told me that it cost them $10,000 in the end, and that didn't include lost wages, okay? By the time they have to get their licenses back and they have to go to schools and pay fines and so forth, this is really heavy-duty stuff. Let me read what they have to say here. Most people don't think that they will ever be arrested for drinking under the influence of alcohol or some other drug. Unfortunately, many people don't realize that they're impaired while driving, and that's true. They go, I'm fine. Participants will gain an understanding of the consequences of being arrested for drinking and driving. Many times, those who have been arrested say, and this is what I'm getting at, I wish I knew all of this before it happened. All right? So especially young folks that are in college, they're out there with their friends and they're celebrating their adulthood or whatever. Heavy duty stuff. During this training, they will have a discussion on standard drinks. They'll cover factors that influence a person's blood alcohol level, tolerance in driving, how an arrest impacts others in the family, and alternatives to drinking, using, and driving. The New York State laws, social and emotional issues, and long-term implications will be discussed in what a drink really costs in both the financial and social realms. And of course, that's being provided by our friends from CASIC, and so you can contact them, and I'm just looking to see if I have a phone number for them, because a lot of times they have a phone number, but I don't see one. But they're in the book, CASIC, C-A-S-A-C, okay? And that's just Chautauqua area, area council. I'm trying to, Substance Abuse Council. Boy, nobody will kick me if I didn't remember all that. All right, so check that out. We have a slide here, programmed to focus on Chautauqua Lake's first white settler. Okay, this is kind of a fun one. This is from the Chautauqua Historical Society. Chautauqua County has had its fair share of eccentric and colorful characters throughout its long history. The first of these notable individuals was, no question, Dr. Alexander McIntyre, who became Chautauqua Lake's first white settler in the spring of 1804. On Wednesday evening, September 19th, the Chautauqua County Historical Society trustee and historian Jack Erickson will present the eccentric life of early pioneer Alexander McIntyre, fact and fiction, and will outline the details of McIntyre's colorful biography. It said that McIntyre built the first log cabin near the shores of Chautauqua Lake on what is today South Erie Street in Mayville, just down the road. He erected a stockade around the cabin and called it Fort Debbie, after his wife. Local lore says he built it to protect his so-called wife from her estranged husband, who lived in Meadville, Pennsylvania. I'm laughing. I don't get that one. Okay, 1804. I don't know, different rules back then. McIntyre also claimed that he had been captured by and resided with Indians for many years, acquiring their habits, and said he learned the healing art from them. After living in the Mayville area, he spent his final years in Westfield, where it said he erected several cabins and bathhouses for people to take advantage of the healing powers of the local water. I don't know of any local water that is healing around here, but maybe there is. For more information, give them a call at 326-2977. There's no cost to attend. Light food and refreshments will be provided. So it sounds like a fun evening to learn about some history here in the Mayville, Westfield area. Dr. Alexander McIntyre, fact or fiction. Okay, moving right along. Parenting class. Build a strong foundation for your children. Your child's first years are so important. Learn how to make the most of them with active parenting the first 5 years. In this program, you'll learn the best ways to nurture your child from birth to pre-K with a just right combination of freedom and nonviolent discipline. Give your kids a strong start. Okay, the classes start, and this is the last time we'll be talking about this because you got to sign up for it. They start September 19th. And they're going to be held the 19th to 26th, October 3 and 10 from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mental Health Association, 31 Water Street at the Gateway Center in Jamestown. The project is offered free of charge through United Way of Southern Chautauqua County in its partnership with, again, the Chautauqua Alcohol and Substance Abuse Council. Now it tells me what it means, CASIC, and the Mental Health Association. For more information, go to casicweb.org and check it out. So you can learn how to parent. There was no class when I was in school for that. And maybe my kids would have turned out better. I don't know. They're pretty cool anyways, but maybe even better. Okay, slide 16, recovery walks. Got a slide for that. Okay. This is going to be held in North County, Thursday, September 20th, 4 p.m. Starts at Dunkirk City Hall at 342 Central Avenue in Dunkirk. There's also going to be one held in South County, Thursday, September 27th at noon. Starts at Mental Health Association, 31 Water Street in Jamestown. Additional resources will be available, light refreshments provided, wear your tie-dye apparel. And this is to celebrate addiction recovery and so on. So those are your dates, and I don't think we'll have time to talk about them again. Let's see, I'm trying to think. No, they're going to be held this coming week, and we might be able to mention the one on the 27th again. Okay, let's move along to the Art of Rock. That sounds kind of cool. We got a slide for that. This is going to be held at the Patterson Library Octagon Gallery. If you've never been there, it's a really cool place. Ooh, check out that poster. Ooh. They're presenting the Art of Rock, the art of Alan Jaeger, and sculptures from Mark Gillespie. I have to say these slowly. I never know if I'm going to say them right. There's going to be an opening reception Friday, September 28th from 7 to 9 p.m. And they're going to be featuring Tree Birds, a gallery concert from 8 to 9 p.m. And this is running from September 28th to the 2nd. So the Art of Rock, okay, and looks like a fun show. So do check it out over at the Patterson Library. Okay, today's dating, is it abusive? Another program that's going on here. Boy, these are really top subjects that we're discussing here today. Today's dating, is it abusive? Natasha Yuma from the Salvation Army Anew Center is the Prevention Education Coordinator and Advocate. It's going to be a program held on October 4th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon. At the Salvation Army Center at 83 South Main Street. And this is going to be brought to you once again by CASIC and the Salvation Army Anew Center. You have to pre-register if you're interested. Now listen, dating abuse is a prevalent dilemma in our society. Although many report never having experienced abuse in their relationships, some may be surprised to know that the behaviors their partners are displaying are warning signs of an abusive relationship. In this training, we will clearly define dating abuse in a way that is simple and easy to remember. In addition, this training will go over specific behaviors that are commonly used by abusive partners to control their dates. Not only will we go over dating abuse and what it looks like, participants will walk away with an understanding of how to help if someone they know is experiencing dating abuse. And again, that's brought to you by CASIC, and you can give them a call for more information. Some heady topics today, but this is all important stuff. And if you're interested, do check these things out. Okay, we're going to take a little breather, and we have another public service announcement, and we'll be right back with what, like I said, is a very important show. Stay tuned. Jeff, you want to come back to me, it's fine. Okay, we had some more technical difficulty. Got me in a drink there. Hold on. These things happen in the best of worlds. I've seen it on network TV. I was in Germany and I saw the same thing happening where somebody was talking and all of a sudden they realized that they weren't getting the response from the computers the way they were supposed to be. Okay, well, but for no further ado, we're going to get right into the topic. I want to welcome back Cindy Reidy, who is with the Joseph Dwyer program, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about that again. Last time you were here, Cindy, you were like a couple weeks in the job.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, I remember that. And Greg Carlson kind of escorted you through the show, and we said we're going to bring you back and see what you've been doing. It's been some time now, right?
Yeah. I was here in April of 17.
Okay, so it's been a while, so I'm eager to learn what you've been up to. Then we have Melodie Palidno, who's with the Veterans of Modern Warfare, and you're also part of the Dwyer group, so good morning.
Good morning.
And I have never heard of your group before, the Veterans of Modern Warfare, so I'm keenly interested. As we were talking before in the show, one of my sons is in the Army, and this could be something of interest. And finally, Susan Rowley is with us from the Blue Star Mother Program, as well as Senator Catherine Young's office, correct? Did I get all the introductions right?
Yes.
I know I look like a scatterbrain, but I actually do get these things right once in a while, especially on a Saturday morning. So, Cindy, let's start with you, and then we'll just work our way down, because I know y'all are working on a big project, but we'll hold back on that a little bit. Okay. So the Joseph Dwyer program, I know, is a grant program, if I remember right.
Correct.
So tell us about that and what it's all about.
The PFC Joseph P. Dwyer Veterans Peer-to-Peer Program is designed as a non-clinical program to help veterans when they are coming out of the service, going back into civilian life. The transition time can be very difficult. We're not a case management program, but the goal is to get veterans out of the house, meeting up with other veterans. It's that camaraderie factor that they miss after serving together. And we do all kinds of activities and events, and I try to spend a little time with each one that's in the program so I get to know them and really what they like. We've got all kinds of different things going. We have 2 coffee hours every month, a morning one at Josie's on Forest Avenue. It's a wonderful place to meet. And once a month we get together at Friendly's in the evening. So that's just, we grab the different crew and we do ice cream, and everybody seems to like that. Get their great big bowls of ice cream. And that gives them a chance just to meet some new veterans. We have, I think our youngest is 24, our oldest is, I believe, 78. So it's a wide range of eras that they served in. Some deployed, some stayed stateside. We don't have any requirements other than that they've served. The program is named after Iraqi combat medic that came back with PTSD and a brain injury and was not able to get this help he needed and ended up huffing dust off, which is a chemical cleaner, and to the point it caused brain damage, paranoia, and he eventually lost his life due to that.
Oh my gosh.
So his parents had rallied with the state back in 12-13 legislative session, and this grant was begun. And Susan can tell us more from Senator's office about how that came to us.
Right.
But it's very exciting because we do all kinds of fun things. So every month, like I said, we have 2 coffee hours. We have a game night. That's the whole family can come.
Game night. Okay.
And we do bowling once a month. And then we have all kinds of other things that we throw in between.
All right, you said ages 24 to 78, so that would be present day to Korean War?
I don't have any active Korean vets in my program, but we have several Vietnam era.
Okay, all right. All right. That would have been early Vietnam if they're in the 70s. Okay. How many veterans are you working with?
We have anywhere between, generally I see 60 different faces every month coming to something.
Wow. Okay.
And it grows all the time. I get calls, 1 or 2 at least a week, new ones call wanting information. Part of it is we have this wonderful partnership with the YMCA. We do short scholarships. If they attend a Dwyer event, we give them a 3-month free scholarship to go and work out at the Y.
Wow,
and
that's insane.
that's a good place to meet up with other veterans also, and get involved in some of our activities. So that partnership, right now we have 36 veterans and their families camping at Aniasa. It's family camp out weekend. And I will be stopping there after this to see how everybody's doing, but they were getting ready to have a fire when I left last night. And looked like a lot of fun. And it's going to be a great weekend for it, which we're really glad. And in this May, we had a veterans-only camp out there. This one is the family one. And we had, I think, 18 vets that went. And it just gives them some time to fish and hang out and relax and spend time together. So that's
Okay.
going on.
I'm gonna, I'm a pretty straightforward person when I ask questions, so I'm gonna ask the question and I take it exactly what it's for, how it's gonna, why I'm asking it, and now you're ready. I know, and we'll get to everybody else in a second.
Okay.
But people might be watching right now and go like, so what?
So what?
So what? I mean, my father served in the Army. He's fine. My uncle was in the Navy. He's fine. They're not fine. So why? Why? You told me about Joseph Dwyer, and that was his issue. So what? What's this got to do with everybody else? And I'm asking that question as a rhetorical question, and then we'll go all the way down the line as we go here.
They miss that sense of camaraderie, that they're used to having that routine and basically being told what to do, and they know their goal and their mission. And they come home and life is so different. And nobody else around really gets what and not all of them have experienced trauma, but they've all experienced the military life. We have a group for wives, spouses, girlfriends, and we've added female vets. We have 5 female vets that are involved in our program.
Excellent. We don't want them to get lost in all this.
No. So we do, sometimes we have a speaker come in. We had a clinical therapist came this last week and talked about getting ready for the holidays and how stressful holidays can be, especially for a veteran who has been away from home on holidays and the families that have had to endure time without their family. And there's a lot of stressors that go with holidays. So that was our meeting last Tuesday night. So sometimes we do speakers and snacks, and sometimes we do craft activities. We're working on a group quilting project with our ladies. And that quilt will be, it's a patriotic quilt. It's just adorable. Anne French is leading that for us. And when that's done, that will be probably auctioned off to benefit one of the programs. So we just have so many different things. We put on a military ball last year. We had 165 guests. We had several uniforms and ball gowns. And it was just a different outreach. Some places do picnics. We had done a picnic, picnics are nice, but you don't necessarily socialize with people you don't know. But if you're all in one big room, you're going to stand by somebody in the buffet line, and you're going to cross somebody. We had a large world map, and they were able to put a pin, put a little stick pin anywhere that they had served, and I think the entire night there was always somebody at that map, looking at the pins or putting in a new pin and chatting with the person beside him. And one of our guys, Dave, has this, he says, look where my pin is, this little dot in the middle of the ocean. I said, you must have been on a boat. And he said, no, that was jungle training. It was a little tiny island off of India. So, and it just brings up conversations and things that they haven't had a chance to talk to anybody else because they don't feel like anybody really understands unless you're another vet.
Absolutely correct.
So,
And we live that in our home with our family,
Right.
and we talked about that, not
Yeah.
on a daily basis, but with
Right.
my son who's always deployed. Melody, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So you are with the Veterans of Modern Warfare. Okay, no kidding. All kidding aside, I've never heard of this. So tell me about the program and what your involvement is and how you got involved. Tell us your story.
Our program is for veterans who are in the era from August 2nd of 1990 to current day. And we are growing. My husband took over a local chapter about 7 years ago. The chapter that was there was struggling, and in the last 7 years we've been able to recruit younger vets, which are very hard to reach. They come home and unfortunately everything shuts down. They try to become a civilian again. They try to deal with their home life, and they don't want people to know
Why?
that they're a vet,
What?
because people don't understand
Understand what?
their struggles. They don't understand what they've been through. They don't understand the difficulties that they're trying to cope with and deal with here on the home front.
You know, I lived through the Vietnam era like many people, and it was publicized big time, and everybody was just, it was just horrific scenes we saw. We don't see that on TV so much. And these guys, gals are coming home with those movies in their heads that we haven't seen. True or false?
Very true.
Okay? So you see, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're on the same page right now. So what does your program do?
Our program is built in the fashion that we want those veterans to know that there's a brotherhood and a sisterhood here for them. Our war is a lot like the Vietnam War. We have huge numbers of men and women that we've lost. We have huge numbers of men and women that are struggling. And the Vietnam Vets Association is actually the one who said these young men and women need help, and they kind of took us under their wing and got them established. And unfortunately in New York right now we are one of 2 chapters, and our chapter is probably the 3rd most active chapter, if not the 2nd, in all of the United States.
Wow, good for you.
That is how hard of a struggle it is getting these young men and women to become involved. They, as my husband a lot of times puts it, he didn't go in the service to come back and get patted on the back. A lot of times he doesn't want his service to be what's announced. And the mission of our particular chapter, and you will ask every single one of them, is just because their service to the United States and their service to the military is done, their personal service to the community and the world around them will never be complete. So what our individual chapter does is provides the brotherhood and the sisterhood. We meet and we gather and we laugh and share what stories want to be shared. And we do community events. We want to be able to give back to the community. So part of that community is the veterans. We'll do a veterans benefit. We've helped with rent. We recently helped the Dwyer program. There's veterans who don't have vehicles but want to get around, so we provided bicycles. And our huge mission is veterans, children, and cancer. Those are the 3
Say it
things.
again, veterans?
Veterans,
Yeah,
children, and cancer.
we'll come back to that, okay? I want to share 2 quick things. I remember, oh my gosh, maybe 10 years ago, long after Vietnam was over, as far as the war itself. I mean, in the lives of Vietnam veterans, the war continues, I know. And I was sitting with a relative, I'll leave it there. And the individual got very angry when we were talking about Vietnam, because I didn't go. I had a deferment, and I was in college. And I said, well, why are you so angry? And he said, well, we went overseas, we defended the country, we tried to help those in Vietnam, we came back and people were throwing things at us and calling us all kinds of horrible names and that. And the long hairs, the liberals were doing all this stuff. And I said, you're right. And I said, do you know why? The individual says, no. I said, because that's the garbage that we were fed. And from that day forward, we had a total different relationship. Because we didn't know what the other didn't know. We were all set up. That's my opinion on the matter.
They still don't. Today's world doesn't know
Right.
the mission and what's really happening over
Right.
there. They
And-
see what,
Right.
unfortunately, don't take this personally, but they see what the TV decides to broadcast.
Oh, absolutely,
Let's get our
absolutely.
numbers up, let's do this.
I take no offense. My show is about opening up that topic, and so from that day forward, I've been more and more sensitive to Vietnam vets, but and trying to explain to them, those of us that were back here watching it, and so on. So that was one story. The other story was, my dad passed away last year at the ripe age of 94. That's neither here nor there, but he was a World War II vet. My dad would talk a little bit about the war, but it was more glorious. It was more the fun things, how he got arrested for losing his ID on a slope skiing or something crazy like that. But he never talked about being strafed or whatever. And then, do you remember when Buffalo, New York had that micro storm that put like 4 feet of snow just in that one area? Well, my mom and dad lived in that particular area, and it was right about October, I think it was, and the trees still had the leaves on the branches, so the trees got very heavy, the branches, and all of a sudden everything started cracking. My mom said my father was just freaking out. And he would have been in his late 80s at that point, probably. First time I ever heard that my dad might have even had any PTSD, ever. So it was like, that's why I asked you about the ages, because we've still have World War II veterans that are still fighting World War II. They're nightmares, they don't talk about it, or they talk about it and they're talking about it all the time, still trying to get it out, but they just never seem to be able to get it out. Enough on that. Susan Rowley, Blue Star mom, and part of my very good friend Senator Young's office. So
Yes.
good morning. How
Good
are you?
morning. Great
We're
to
all,
be
we're all
here.
getting wispy-eyed here. This is
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Errol, we need a box
That's
of
what
Kleenex.
we do.
Get us a box of Kleenex. We got to put it out here.
I brought one with me.
Well, we'll get a box out here. Somebody, I don't care. She's on the job. Anyway, so Susan, what's your story here today?
Well, I'm just here supporting our veterans like we do. But I did want to share that this program, the Dwyer program, our Senator Young is so wonderfully supportive, and she respects and honors our veterans, and she's behind them 100%. And the Senate funding that was secured specifically in the Senate budget for the Dwyer program was secured by Senator Young. She brought it into our area. So, because she wants to help. She wants to help all these veterans that are suffering from PTSD and just need to spend some time together, peer-to-peer, and hopefully will heal. If we save one, and we know we have at least, veteran from other things that they, suicide. The funding has been more than worth. There's no price to put on a life of
Absolutely.
a veteran or anyone, but our veterans that sacrifice so much for us and their families that do. This is just such a great program.
Melodie is in here because of her husband. Cindy, you didn't tell me why you're involved.
With the Blue Stars, I'm a Blue Star mother ×2. My son and his wife are in the Army.
Okay.
And that's how I got involved with Blue Stars. I joined even before he went active duty because I knew I needed the support. I'm a worrier, and that was my connection with Blue Stars. So.
Okay. And Susan, where are you involved?
Well, I'm the president of our local chapter, New York. It's Lake Erie, New York, Chapter 4 of the Blue Star Mothers of America. I joined the Blue Star Mothers probably 12 years ago. I attended, well, maybe 11 years ago. My son had just come home from his first deployment. He's deployed multiple times. And I was lost. I spent most of his deployment in a fetal position because I just didn't know what to do.
About what?
Because of where he was, and what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mother, thank you, as a mother, you know, our imaginations, it's the hardest thing in the world to watch your child go off to war.
Absolutely.
So I was dealing personally with that, and I was having a really hard time. And he had gotten home, and I went to the 4th of July parade, and along comes a float, and it says Blue Star Mothers of America. And I left my family and followed them until I had their phone number, and their address, and this is how important this is to me. This is yes, I joined because of my son's service, but then as I got into Blue Star Mothers, I realized how many veterans' lives we could touch. And
Cindy, how many veterans are in Chautauqua County?
11,000.
11,000, and you're dealing with a whopping 60.
Well, we have more that have joined or attended at least one thing, and we're reaching out all the time. So we're gaining.
My point is,
new ones.
you're just scratching the surface.
Average.
Right. There's lots of them out there.
Right.
There are so many wonderful, wonderful, wonderful veterans programs in Western New York, just in Chautauqua County. There's so much support out there if they just come and find us.
That's why we're here today.
Exactly.
Spread the word further and further and further.
Exactly.
Okay, so as a mom, you were having difficulty. So what did they do for you as far as support?
Blue Star Mothers, we support our veterans. We support our currently serving military, our sons and daughters who serve. We support one another as our children serve. And that's where my first connection was. I just needed that understanding, because nobody understands. You know, people were coming, either avoiding me because they knew how upset I was, you know, or, you know, they were like, I don't know what to say to her because her son's, you know, in the middle of
Or there's
Iraq
probably the
somewhere.
third group, suck it up.
Those, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
those are the ones
the-
you want to slap, don't you?
You know,
Just
and-
suck it
and
up. I did
my-
it. You know, my kid was here. What's a big deal?
Or mothers that, you know, are like, you know, how you feel? My son just left for college and it's really hard. And, you know, and I get that. I know my kids have left for college too, and it is hard. But watching them leave for war is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Right, and when they're in college, you can call them up on the phone, you can go visit them, and once they're in the service, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
So what we do is, and we also support our Gold Star families. We have quite a few in Chautauqua County.
I don't think people know what a Gold Star family is.
Let me tell you the difference between a Gold Star and a Blue Star. Blue Star mother is a mother family or families of currently or not currently, if past or present, serving military. A Gold Star is completely different. A Gold Star mother, well, not completely, but a Gold Star mother or father or mother who has had a child die during a time of service.
Right.
I just we have a New York State Gold Star president, Holly Baker, who lives in Springville. She contacted me last week, and last week we met up in Silver Creek at the VFW, and we got, 3 families showed up, Gold Star families, but they'd like to start, she'd like to see a chapter started in Chautauqua County. So if anyone out there is interested in that, please contact me at Senator Young's office in Jamestown at 664-4603.
664.
4603.
Okay.
And we will get you in touch with that group. One of the things that stood out to me as the parents, and again, it's a support group, they understand, it's a peer-to-peer group, that stood out to me was one of the moms said, you know, that she had a mother come up to her, she had a Gold Star license plate, and she said, wow, what do I have to do to become a Gold Star mother? And she couldn't even answer her, she just said, Google it.
That's why I asked you, and thank you for explaining. I knew the answer, but people just are oblivious to these things, you know.
And, you know, as a Blue Star mother, we walk that line when our children deploy. But they live it, and we sympathize with them, and they empathize with us. And it's, you know, it just, and it's so important to our group that we do have a Gold Star Memorial every Saturday before Memorial Day in the Veterans Park in Jamestown at 10 a.m. And we gather all of our Gold Star families together, and we remember each and every one of our Gold Star heroes from 1985 to present. We say each one of their names out loud. There's 18 of them that we have right now, and that we know of. And if there's more, we want to honor them.
Will you make me a promise?
Yes.
That you will let me know when that comes up and send me an email or let us know and we'll announce it so people can attend?
Please.
Okay. Before the show, we were talking about our families and situations with our children in the military and our spouses. Obviously, I'm the husband here in the deal, and these are the moms, and I'm the dad. But I'll share with you now is that when my son was deployed different places, we would talk. And then after he'd leave or get off the phone, of course, then it was the third degree from my wife. What did he say? What didn't he tell me? What does he want me to worry about? And it really became very uncomfortable, okay? And so finally I said to my son, don't tell me anything. And he looked at me and goes, what do you mean? I said, don't tell me anything that you don't want your mother to know because I can't lie to her. And so we pretty much did that because I was trying to protect my wife.
I understand that.
So he got the idea. Melodie, you probably are ready to burst the seams because you want to talk about something that's coming up.
Yes.
So I know we have some slides that go with it, and Jeff will pop these up as we're going along, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Well, PFC Dwyer decided that they wanted to do a motorcycle run. So the whole theory of a motorcycle run is to create a fundraiser. PFC Dwyer is a nonprofit organization. They cannot take funds in. So we had to find something that we could do so that we can give funds away. So they partnered with us, the Veterans of Modern Warfare. We do chicken barbecues as our fundraisers. And this year, there's been a lot of suicide in Chautauqua County. People don't realize how close to home that this really is. And unfortunately, it's reaching every generation. Veterans are suffering from outrageous loss. We are at 22 veterans a day.
Across the United States?
Across the United States. I can't give you Chautauqua County's number, but 22 across the United States is too much.
One is too much.
And part of that is the fact that people don't understand. These veterans come home, they have nowhere to go to, they don't have anybody to advocate for them. And without bringing awareness and bringing those things to the forefront, these veterans will continue, unfortunately, to lose their lives. And we don't want that. So partnering with the Community Alliance for Suicide Prevention, they let us know their needs. They are also a nonprofit organization, but they are community-based, and they are there for all generations. And so we've all been meeting committee, and we decided that the Community Alliance for Suicide Prevention and the Veterans Endowment will be who receives the funds from this year's inaugural fundraiser. And as long as the Community Alliance is there, I'm sure that this will continue, because it's huge to partner together for such a cause.
For those that are on the radio right now, we have a poster that's popped up, and rather than me to attempt to read it to you all, and those of you who are watching TV, you can watch this any old time and on YouTube, but Melodie, why don't you just give us the skinny on the whole thing here? What's going on?
The skinny is that on Saturday, September 29th, we'll be taking registrations at 8:15. 8:30 we'll start the paperwork process. We are inviting both motorcycles and cars and trucks to make this run with us, because everybody is affected by this cause. So we want everybody to be able to be involved. It will be at the Harley-Davidson of Jamestown. They're on Route 394 in Falconer.
Oh, right at the expressway.
Yep.
Okay.
Driver is $15, a rider is $10, and for cages, which are your vehicles, would be registration for the driver only at $15. However, every rider in the vehicle can also ride for $10. We're on Facebook, Dwyer, Chautauqua, Cyber Spokes events, the Veterans of Modern Warfare Chapter 20, and the Community Alliance. And there is an event posted on each of those sites.
So can they register online?
The form is online, and my number is there if they wanted to register over the phone, and they can register that day.
Okay, so either by phone or in person? Okay.
Yeah.
So $15 a driver, $10 for a rider or passenger?
Yeah.
Okay. We have got a phone call. We will come back to you.
Okay.
So, good morning, caller. Good morning.
Ladies, Blue Star ladies, my utmost appreciation of you and respect and thankfulness to your children. I appreciate what all of our veterans do for us and our men in the military now in active duty, and especially those in combat theater. I might want to add that I guess I'm a Blue Star mother, because I had a son under Herbert Walker Bush who was in the Gulf, right in the Gulf. And he could not tell us where he was or what he was doing. He still doesn't talk about it. But I'll tell you, when I knew he was going there, I prayed fervently every single day for him.
This is Linda Spalding, by the way.
Okay.
That got chopped off in the very, very beginning, Lynn. So.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't announce it.
Well, no, it kind of came in mid-sentence, so I knew who you were.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Linda, and you know you're welcome to join our group. You were once a Blue Star mother, always a Blue Star mother.
Well, that's wonderful to have a support group like that, because it's really very anxious and frightening thing to go through. And I think of my grandparents during World War II. 4 of their children, 4 of my uncles, were in combat theater in World War II. 2 of them were fighting in France.
Yep.
And you couldn't hear from them.
Imagine 4 children, but they all came back. Of course, the wars were a lot different then than they are now. They're a lot different. But I have the utmost appreciation for our veterans, and of course the work that I do, the Mature Worker Employment Program. Veterans are our first priority. We are to serve the veterans first before anyone else, and I'm so glad that we do that.
That's great, Lynn.
I'd also like to announce that this week coming up, and there should be an article coming in the papers, that this is Hire the Older Worker Week. This has been designated by the Department of Labor that we should stop and think about the tremendous contribution that our senior workers give, and maybe they'll hire an older worker.
Now, Lynn, you said you work with Veterans Priority 1, so what kind of jobs would you have if a veteran was listening right now, or these ladies know someone? What kind of work do you have available?
Well, what we do is we target the job according to the person's interests, what they want to do, and what their skills. We talk about what's available in the community. Of course, we know that anything in healthcare services is considered a demand occupation. There's a tremendous demand for that. However, not everybody wants to get into that field. So I say to people, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we talk about what they want to do, what they don't want to do anymore. And then we look at least 3 different types of occupations if possible and say, where are those jobs? And, you know, what do you want to do in that field? And then we make contacts there. The best way to find a job is through, and this has been said for years and years and years, is what we call the hidden job market. Those are jobs that are not advertised. Getting to them before it's advertised. That way you get rid of the competition. And that's through networking. Being there at the right place at the right time.
Okay. Lynn, let's get your contact information. Who should they call if they're interested?
They should call me at the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging. There are also other services there. The number is 753-4471. Ask for Linda.
Okay, and we just popped that up on the screen. And of course, you always go to your Facebook page, and there's all kinds of information there as well, right?
Okay, well, I thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you very much, ladies, for sharing this very valuable information with
Thanks,
us.
Lynn. Take care, as always.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So there's some possible leads for work through the Office of the Aging. And, you know, we think Office of the Aging is for like 90-year-olds. No, they go like 50 on up. So it sounds like you got people that could be in that category. Melody, we were talking about the fundraising from your motorcycle rally here. The proceeds are going to go to an endowment. You said, what's the endowment, or whoever wants to speak to it, what's it used for?
It's through Veteran Services, and a veteran can apply. It's not an automatic, but they can apply if they need maybe a car repair, or they're running short a little bit on money. They can apply to this fund, and it's a loan which they have the opportunity to pay back, and then they can borrow again if they need it. So it's just a little extra fund that's run through the Veteran Services Office, and that's on 3rd Street in the other half of the building of VA. They could go in there and fill out an application for that. Okay.
And Melody, I think you mentioned it, when these folks come out of the service, they have trouble finding work, for instance. Why is that, do you think? I mean, they're skilled in their areas. I mean, I realize that we don't have a great need for certain skill areas, but many times they're mechanical, electrical, whatever it is.
These guys are coming home, and I don't know that they have a complete focus on where to start back in life and civilianship. So a lot of times, if they were to, say, go to the Dwyer peer-to-peer program or go right to the VA services, those places can help them refocus and help them get to where they need to be so that they can return to work.
Let's talk about the word peer. Now, that's not always a word that we use everyday language in most circles, okay? So who wants to define peer-to-peer? Because I think this is an important element of our discussion. Everybody's looking at everybody.
Peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer.
Someone that has understanding of, so for Blue Star Mothers, it's mother to mother. For Dwyer Veterans Program, it's vet to vet. So there's all kinds of different forms of peer-to-peer, but that has been proven over and over that that's extremely effective for a person to have somebody else to talk to that really understands. It's fine to go to a therapist, it's fine to visit with your doctor or your clergy, but it's a whole different experience when you're talking to somebody that understands you, and because they've lived the same life.
I talked to a veteran one day, and this individual was going to counseling and said, this person doesn't understand what I'm talking about.
Right, we hear that.
And I go, what do you mean? Because whatever the issue was, and they said, well, he understands I get angry all the time, but doesn't understand why I'm angry, because you have to be there to understand it. Right. I get it. When you've had somebody standing next to you or some similar circumstance, it's just a whole different dynamic, isn't it? All kidding aside, I haven't heard anything about dads in any of this other than family. Where's the dads in all this? Come on, we need some help here.
We have several in our Blue Star group.
Yeah, we have. I mean, there isn't they can join for free. Mothers have to pay $30 a year, but everybody else can join for free. We have associate members and dads that are a part of our group. And one of my favorite things to do is when we all get together, we have a picnic or different events that we have, and the dads come, the moms are all gathered in a circle, and then we look over these dads that were like, oh, you go, I'm not going to get involved in that, and then they come with us, and next thing you know, they're in a circle, and they're sharing with each other what they've been through, and like you said, what you can't tell their mom. They don't want their mom to know, but they share with their dad. And you had that way you'd have someone to share those stories with.
Yeah. And
Really
you know,
helpful.
there's a lot of pressure on dads not to tell. Or we're supposed to be supposedly the tough guys that holds up the household, the family, don't worry. Meanwhile, what are we doing? We're texting, we're you know, I'm looking up on the map, where is my kid right now? Oh my God, don't tell your wife that, because she'll freak out. You listen to CNN and that's just where there was a bombing or the mosque was blown up, and you go, don't say, you know, I mean, I remember so many times, just don't say anything, just wait. You know, and
we do that too. I mean, we try not. You know, you think you'd share back and forth, but you just tighten up, because you just pray that they weren't there and that wasn't.
And wives are the same way. When my husband was over there, I was watching the TV. I was stuck to the TV. Everybody's like, get out in front of the TV, and I'm like, that's the only connection with my husband. And that's the other thing with VMW right now. We're trying to get more wives involved and have advocates for veterans of modern warfare, so that, you know, we can bring it all together, bring it in.
Melodie, you mentioned your group started for folks that were in service and in active duty August 2nd, 1990. If I remember right, that was the first Iraqi theater?
So you have Saudi, yes.
Well, I don't know where it was,
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm, exactly, thank you. I get all my, everything's mixed up as a rule. Seems like we're everywhere these days. We're down about 3 minutes, and I want to remind people that are watching right now, Chautauqua Sunrise, you can give us a call, 753-5225. There's still a little bit of time left. And we're talking, as I said, to me, this is a heavy topic, but it's a necessary topic. So we got a couple more slides, so let's see what else we got that you all sent. So Jeff, let's pop up whatever else we have, because I don't want to lose track of that. So what do we got? I don't know. There we go. Okay. So is this in relationship to you folks as well?
No.
Okay, this has nothing, this is from the other one. Do we have any other ones?
Biggest thing is that we were advertising that the chicken barbecue will be open to the public. If you want to support our cause and our fundraiser, you don't have to come ride. We encourage it because it's going to be a beautiful fall ride to Kinzu and back.
Oh, that's what we didn't talk about. What's the route? Let's talk about the route. You said 140 miles or something? I heard?
It's 140 miles, but there is a gas trailer that is going along the ride, so nobody has to worry about running out of gas.
Brothers by Choice have organized this part of it.
Beautiful ride down to Kinzu and back. And you're coming back a different route than what you headed down on, so it's going to be a nice 2.5 to 3 hours of just beautiful scenery.
And this time of year, the leaves are starting to turn. It's pretty good.
Should be beautiful.
And the barbecue is only $10, and comes with a drink and 2 sides. That's a bargain. That's like hardly anything nowadays. And so, is there anything that's people will see along the way, or anything stops, or anything? Or it's just a ride?
Just stopping at the dam.
Yep, they're going to Kinzu Dam.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, will people have banners on their cars or ribbons?
Some of the bikes will have flags. They can they can
Dress it
have
up.
ribbons. They can have
Blue
whatever.
stars.
they
Blue Star
like.
Mother car,
Very cool.
There'll be 50-50s, basket raffles.
So there's more than just a ride here.
Lots
Of course.
going on.
Harley Davidson of Jamestown was very gracious in letting us use the venue at no cost, and they're having an open house that day, so there will be other vendors there. It's going to be a huge day in Falconer. So.
Okay. We're getting down to about 1.5 minutes, so let's work in reverse order, and we'll end up with Cindy. So Susan, what would we got less than that. So quickly, anything you want people to know?
Yeah, we're starting to collect right now. Blue Star Mothers are for our Christmas care package. It's going to care package collection. We're going to be packing on December 1st at 9 a.m. at the Fluvanna Community Church. The community is welcome to join us.
And 664-4603. Okay, that's a wrap. Cindy, your phone number?
661-8447.
Okay, folks, I hope you learned something from this show. I always do. Ladies, thank you for coming in and sharing your stories and your programs. I wish you luck on your rally, and hopefully you make a lot of money, and keep me posted on these things, okay? All right, we'll see you all again next Saturday, folks, with another show here at Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. Thanks for joining us and listening in, and we'll do it all again next week. Have a great weekend, and enjoy the Chautauqua County weather. Good job. That was a